5 Lies guilt tells estranged parents. Guilt can become one of the most persistent and exhausting parts of parental estrangement. It questions your choices, replays your memories, and keeps you mentally tied to the past. What makes it especially difficult is that guilt often sounds reasonable. It sounds responsible. It sounds like truth. But many of the thoughts driven by guilt are built on distorted assumptions rather than reality. Today, we're looking at 5 common lies guilt tells estranged parents. Estrangement creates distance, but guilt rarely stays quiet. It fills the silence with second-guessing, self-blame, and endless mental review of what you could have done differently. Some guilt is natural, especially when you care deeply about your child and your role as a parent. But much of what parents experience is not healthy reflection. It is hindsight bias, unrealistic expectations of control, and self-judgment that ignores the complexity of relationships. Let's talk about 5 guilt narratives that many estranged parents struggle with. Lie number 1. If I were a better parent, this wouldn't have happened. This belief is one of the most painful because it reduces a complex situation into a single explanation: personal failure. Estrangement, however, rarely has one cause. It can involve differences in personality, mental health challenges, long-standing family dynamics, conflict patterns, communication breakdowns on both sides, and outside influences that shape perception and loyalty. Even deeply loving, attentive, and committed parents experience estrangement. Being a good parent does not guarantee a lifelong relationship. And being estranged does not automatically mean you are inadequate. This guilt narrative creates an illusion of simplicity by replacing layered reality with self-blame. Lie number 2, I should have tried harder. This thought is usually driven by hindsight. It assumes there was always something more you could have done, a better response you could have given, or a different approach that would have changed the outcome. But most estranged parents did try, often repeatedly, and over many years. They tried conversations, compromise, patience, emotional restraint, support, therapy, boundary adjustments, and repair attempts. Guilt tends to erase effort while magnifying imagined alternatives. It judges past decisions using information you did not have at the time and assumes that trying harder would have guaranteed a different result. Relationships are not math equations. More effort does not always equal reconciliation. Lie number 3. This is my fault. Fault implies full responsibility, and full responsibility implies full control. That level of control is rarely realistic in any relationship. Estrangement is shaped by 2 people, 2 perspectives, and 2 sets of interpretations and choices. Even when parents acknowledge mistakes, which is normal and human, it does not automatically follow that estrangement is entirely their doing. Adult children have autonomy. They interpret events through their own emotional filters, experiences, and influences. Guilt pushes parents toward black and white conclusions. Reality is usually more complicated. Lie number 4. A good parent would never stop trying. This belief frames boundaries as abandonment and persistence as the only morally acceptable choice. It ignores the difference between healthy effort and self-destructive pursuit. Continuing to chase connection indefinitely, regardless of rejection or hostility, can take a serious toll on mental and emotional health. Many estranged parents reach a point where continued attempts lead to anxiety, sleep disruption, obsessive rumination, emotional exhaustion, and repeated emotional injury. Choosing to step back is not necessarily giving up. It can be an act of psychological protection and stability. Healthy parenting does not require absorbing endless emotional harm. Lie number 5. If I let go, it means I didn't really love them. Letting go is often misunderstood. It does not mean forgetting your child, erasing the relationship, or no longer caring. Letting go can mean releasing constant mental replay, releasing unrealistic expectations, and releasing the belief that you can force resolution. Many parents continue loving their child deeply, while also accepting that they cannot control the outcome of the relationship. Guilt often equates suffering with love, as if ongoing emotional pain proves devotion. But suffering is not a requirement for love, and healing is not evidence of indifference. Love and acceptance can exist at the same time. Guilt feels convincing because it attaches itself to values most parents hold strongly: responsibility, care, reflection, accountability, and love. The problem arises when guilt stops being reflective and becomes punitive. When it distorts reality, assumes unrealistic control, erases effort, punishes boundaries, and prevents healing, it stops serving a healthy purpose. It is possible to reflect on the past without living in self-condemnation. It is possible to acknowledge mistakes without accepting total blame. It is possible to love your child while also protecting your emotional and psychological stability. Estrangement is complex, and so is guilt. Not every guilty thought is accurate, and not every painful feeling reflects wrongdoing. Sometimes guilt is simply grief, attachment, and the difficulty of accepting what cannot be changed. If this video resonated with you, you're welcome to like and subscribe to Depth of the Quiet. You can watch quietly, without any pressure to engage. And if you feel safe sharing your experience, the comments are open. If you'd like to explore these themes more deeply, you may find support in the books The Quiet Between Us and Depth of the Quiet by Latina Sidoroff, available in paperback and Kindle on Amazon. For spouses supporting an estranged parent, Standing Beside the Broken by Stas Sidoroff offers a compassionate perspective from the partner's side of the journey.